In a world ruled by deception, one man vows to uncover the truth, no matter the cost. You think you can hide from me? For Detective Marlowe, the hunt is personal. This city has no room for secrets. Why are you doing this? Because I know the truth, but as the walls close in, the hunter becomes the hunted. How far will I go to destroy myself? This January, truth has a price. The dim glow of Marlowe's desk lamp illuminated his cluttered workspace. Stacks of folders and hastily scrawled notes surrounded him like a fortress of his own making. The latest tip sat in front of him. A photograph slipped anonymously into his mailbox earlier that day. The picture featured a nondescript brick building with an unassuming iron door. A small emblem was etched into the frame. A crescent moon entwined with a serpent. Marlowe's fingers traced the symbol as he thought back to the coded messages and cryptic hints he'd been piecing together for weeks. This was the lead he'd been waiting for. Marlowe's heart thudded in anticipation as he set out into the night. Rain slicked the streets, the rhythmic patter on the windshield matching the pulse pounding in his ears. The address in the photo led him to a forgotten part of the city, where abandoned warehouses stood like silent sentinels. The building in the photograph loomed ahead, shrouded in shadows. The emblem on the door glistened faintly under the streetlight, confirming he was in the right place. But something about the air felt off, charged with a tension that made his skin crawl. With every step toward the door, Marlowe's breath quickened. The night was eerily silent, except for the occasional rustle of wind. He glanced over his shoulder, his paranoia rising, but the street appeared deserted. He tightened his grip on his flashlight and cautiously pushed the door open. The rusty hinges groaned, the sound echoing unnaturally in the stillness. Pistol holstered but ready, Marlowe stepped inside. The lock had been surprisingly easy to pick, a fact that set him on edge. Inside, the air was damp and carried the faint scent of mildew. The interior was nothing like he'd expected. Instead of a vibrant, clandestine club, he found himself in a desolate space filled with empty crates and dust-covered furniture. The faint hum of fluorescent lights flickered overhead, casting eerie shadows on the walls. Marlowe moved cautiously, his flashlight slicing through the darkness. His footsteps echoed as he explored the rooms, each one more barren than the last. Yet, the sense of being watched never left him. In one corner, he found a pile of shredded documents. Picking through the scraps, he managed to piece together fragments of sentences. Safe house, relocation, keep it hidden. On the far wall, an old bulletin board caught his attention. A few tattered flyers clung to it, their edges curled with age. One depicted the crescent moon and serpent emblem with the cryptic phrase beneath it, "The truth is in the shadows." Another was a map of the city, various locations circled in red ink. Marlowe's fingers grazed the map as he tried to memorize the marked spots. But a sudden creak made him whirl around, gun drawn. The room was empty, but the silence was deafening. He could have sworn he'd heard footsteps, light and deliberate, retreating into the darkness. His search led him to a basement door, its frame reinforced with heavy steel. The lock on this one was far more intricate, requiring several tense minutes to bypass. When the door finally gave way, it revealed a spiral staircase descending into the depths. The air grew colder with each step, and the walls seemed to close in around him. At the bottom, Marlowe found a small chamber, its walls lined with filing cabinets and surveillance equipment. A monitor flickered to life as he entered, displaying grainy footage of various city locations. One feed showed the front of his apartment building, sending a jolt of alarm through him. Whoever had been watching him was meticulous, patient, and always one step ahead. In the center of the room was a table covered in papers. Marlowe sifted through them, his frustration mounting. They were records of mundane transactions, innocuous enough to avoid suspicion, but just cryptic enough to hint at a deeper purpose. No names, no direct ties to the club he sought. Just more symbols and veiled references. And then he found it. A small notebook with a single word embossed on the cover. Sanctuary. Inside, the pages were filled with a mix of coded messages and handwritten notes. One phrase stood out, scrawled hastily across a page. The meeting moves with the moon. The cryptic words ignited a spark of hope. It wasn't much, but it was something. Just as he pocketed the notebook, the room plunged into darkness. The hum of the monitor ceased, and the faint sound of a door creaking open above sent his pulse racing. Marlowe flattened himself against the wall, his gun raised as he listened for movement. Whoever was here wasn't just watching anymore. They were closing in. Marlowe navigated his way out of the basement, his senses on high alert. Each step felt heavier, the weight of unseen eyes pressing down on him. As he emerged into the main floor, he caught sight of a shadow slipping out the front door. He gave chase, bursting into the rain-soaked streets. But the figure had vanished into the night. Returning to his car, Marlowe's frustration boiled over. The building had offered tantalizing hints, but no definitive answers. The club remained as elusive as ever, its members shrouded in layers of secrecy. Yet, the notebook in his pocket felt like a lifeline, a fragile thread connecting him to the truth. As he drove away, his mind churned with possibilities. The phrase, "the meeting moves with the moon," echoed in his thoughts, its meaning just out of reach. He knew the threats would escalate, the stakes would rise, but he couldn't stop now. The club was out there, hidden in the shadows, and he was determined to bring it to light, even if it meant descending further into darkness. Behind him, the unassuming building stood silent once more. But in the upstairs window, a light flickered briefly before going out, as if someone was still watching, waiting for their next move. The game was far from over, and Marlowe knew he was running out of time to uncover the truth. Want to know what happens next? I won't spoil it for you here. You can dive into the full story in this amazing ebook. It's packed with twists, suspense, and a conclusion that will blow your mind. The full story is waiting for you. Just click the link pinned in the comments section and grab your copy. You'll be glad you did. So, what are you waiting for? Unlock the full adventure now, and let me know what you think of the ending. It's unforgettable, and that's where this episode ends. But trust me, the story is just getting started. In the next part, things take an unexpected turn, and secrets you never saw coming will be revealed. You don't want to miss it. Make sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, so you're the first to catch the next episode. And if you're as hooked as I am, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Got any theories or guesses about what might happen next? Share them, I'd love to hear them. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode of The Gay Hunter. Until then, stay curious and stay tuned.